David, start the league campaign coming up on Saturday. How important is it to get off to a good start?
I think it's really important. I think the objective in the building is we need to be up there or thereabouts, minimum top 4, and that would be. But again, we've got aspirations within the building to try and win the league. But I think there's going to be, in all honesty, I couldn't think of a team that's not in the league at this point in time that's not going to have the same aspirations in terms of getting the top 4. So we need to get off to a good start. It's been okay. It's been okay. There's been a high turnaround of players, obviously. Disappointing Saturday, losing that last minute goal. But I think in general it's been okay. But we need to take a wee bit more form into the league campaign. Still early doors, but we need to go and pick 3 points up. We're at home, and if we've got any aspirations of getting up there, we need to be winning these games of football.
Obviously, you touched upon it's been a relatively good start, and I would say that 3 games out of 4 and 3 clean sheets is quite important. I
think it's hard to, you need to put it into perspective, but I think it's hard to spin a positive on it a wee bit. It is, look, if you take the games in isolation, I think we've been very, very comfortable in every game. Every game. We've scored goals bar Saturday. Most teams have lost a game and still qualified. Again, kind of 360 minutes of football nearly, and we're conceding 355 minutes over the 4 games, and we find ourselves at the cup section. But that's football. We've only got ourselves to blame. I think we've got to do a wee bit better in offensive areas, but we've got to set up a wee bit better. But overall, I think if you'd say to me at the start of pre-season you'll get 3 clean sheets and you'll concede 1 goal, I'd be sitting here lying if I said I wouldn't have took that. So I think there's still a lot of development within the group. There's a lot of new players came in the building. We've lost a lot of continuity from the building. So I think it's disappointing. It was a sore one, It was a sore one, because if it happens a wee bit earlier in the game, you can make changes to try and counteract that. We've made all our substitutions. We're very, very comfortable in the game. If anybody was going to score, it looked like it was going to be Livingston. It was going to score, albeit we need a wee bit more penetration in the final third. But when you lose that goal and it kind of twists the full campaign, it's easy to get sidetracked and focus on the negatives, which is natural, to be fair. But I think you've got to look at every game in isolation. I've been fairly happy, staff's been fairly happy, and even the group in terms of players have been fairly happy with large spells in all games, albeit the last minute sucker punch. Again, I'm not trying to get away from it, but it was offside. It was offside. You're out here through an offside goal, no defending a set play well enough, but it's an offside goal at the end of the day.
Obviously, you touch upon we've already played Dunfermline. We've kept the clean sheet against Dunfermline. Does that make preparation for this weekend a wee bit easier, having already played them?
A little bit, because the difficult part at this stage of the season, there's generally a lot of change in most teams. So trying to find analysis, trying to find footage of your opponents is difficult at that point. So we've obviously got the Dunfermline 90 minutes. We've got bits that they worked on last year. So it helps, but it helps both teams. It'll also help Dunfermline, so it helps both teams there a wee bit in terms of coming into this game, what shape they're going to be. They started with a 4 on Saturday and then reverted back to a 3, but lost the game of football. Whereas I think our shape and how we're trying to play this year is a wee bit more evident to the fans. Hopefully the fans can see that. We're trying to get the ball down, we're trying to play, and we're trying to get the ball out in the wide area with the wingers and the personnel we've got in the building.
Obviously, Stephen Kelly was missing last weekend through suspension. Is there anyone missing for the start of the league campaign?
Yeah, Robbie, I'm sure, Robbie Muirhead. So Robbie will miss out on Saturday. Stephen will come back into the squad. I think we missed Stephen on Saturday's creativity in the final third. In all honesty, I think recent pitch. I think as a collective midfield done okay, but Stephen brings that kind of wee bit of creativity in the final third, and I felt we missed a wee bit. You need game changers. You flip it. I can remember being in League One, even the Championship to a certain degree, but definitely League One, whereas a lot of teams were sitting in a low block and it was difficult to break them down. It's a different challenge for us. You need players like Stephen Kelly. you need players like Stephen Kelly on the park, game changers. Robbie Muirhead's very, very similar. Robbie scored a lot of goals in the championship last year. So Stephen will be a big bonus coming back into it, but disappointed to lose Robbie, because at the top end of the park, boys that can get you goals, they're the ones that can change games at this level, in my opinion.
How important is squad depth, Davey?
I think we're not a million miles away. I think we're all hamstrung in this 20 players in a squad. Like, we used to have 18. Used to have 18 and we were fairly comfortable with that. Now we've got 20 in the match day squad, and you suddenly feel that you need 24 players to supplement the match day squad. So we're probably running with League One numbers for previous campaigns, in terms of probably running with 21, 22 when you had 18 in the squad, opposed to now 24, 23, 24. So squad depth's really, really important. I think if you do an analysis of a squad, I think you look all over the squad, we've probably got 2 players for every position in some way, shape or form. So squad depth's really, really important. Coming into the championship as well, you're week to week more so, you've not got as many midweek games. So hopefully muscle injuries, player injuries become a wee bit easier to deal with, in terms of the schedule's not intense. You'll go through the Premier League at times in a couple of weeks with international breaks, and you're off, whereas the championship's more on a week to week basis, which helps with the muscle injuries, which again then helps with the squad depth, because more players are available for larger percentages of the season.
Obviously spoke about players maybe missing through suspension. One player that we've not seen in a while, Sean Donnellan. Is there any update on Sean?
Sean's been down seeing a specialist a couple of times. Sean played a lot of football the previous 2 years before coming to Livingston. He had a lot of trouble with his hamstring injuries previously from his time at West Brom. But we looked at Sean's history the last 2-3 years, and he played a lot of football on the National League level, week to week. But Sean's came up here and he's kind of struggled with niggles to his hamstring. So Sean's been down seeing a specialist. So I think Sean, best case scenario, 8 weeks away, but Sean's 6 months, 7 months behind everybody else. So Sean's one we're probably going to have to put in the back burner and manage him as safely as possible to get him back to where we need him to be. He's never really been there for us as Livingston. The bits I have seen with Sean been fairly pleased with in terms of his game time. But Sean's just had a terrible run of injuries, and it's hopefully getting out the other end. But I'd be sitting here lying if I felt that was the case. We're kind of a wee bit uncertain where we are with Sean, and now Sean's a wee bit uncertain. So it's just about managing him and getting the consultant's advice.